Ranking every U.S. state shape by how good it would be for a popsicle. For this series, all states will be oriented on the popsicle stick just like they look on the U.S. map, and all states will be relatively similar in size, about the size of a popsicle. 50, Hawaii. Obviously this would not work. The physics behind it just don't add up. I'm sorry Hawaii always does so badly in the state shape series. 49, Michigan. Again, the physics just don't add up. If only the Upper Peninsula wasn't there, this one could have made a run. 48, Florida. Not gonna work. You're gonna constantly have to be tipping your hand to counteract the weight of the top half of the popsicle. 47, Maryland. Obviously the weight is a little more balanced, but this thing's falling apart quickly. 46, Massachusetts. This just isn't gonna work, and your hand is gonna be held right here, rubbing up against the popsicle. It's gonna melt even faster. 45, Tennessee. Just too wide and not tall. Just not ideal for a popsicle in my mind. 44, North Carolina, same thing, just not a great setup. 43, Maine, the weight just doesn't seem balanced here, and this is another one where your hand's going to be rubbing the bottom of the popsicle. 42, California, now this one had some potential, but the top half is just going to be leaning a little too much. 41, Alaska, now the base here of this one works, would be decent, but I just don't love the outer edges here. 40, Rhode Island. What a disappointment. This thing could have won the entire series if it weren't for this little extra edge over here. My popsicle's already broken before I even opened it. 39, Virginia. Just too wide to really work and honestly not very appealing. 38, New York. Also too wide, probably a little heavier on this side, and this portion of the popsicle's constantly rubbing my fingers and gonna melt. 37, New Jersey. This one had a good run and has a little potential, but just too imbalanced. 36, Kentucky. Again, the width just won't work. It's going to be constantly melting across the entire bottom. 35, Kansas. Same thing. Now, obviously, if you flip it up on its side, it would totally work. But for the sake of this series, we're keeping them exactly how they look on the map. 34, Washington. This one just got a little bit more flair to it with a bite taken out of the corner. 33, Pennsylvania. Again, these are just way too prone to melting. 32, Nebraska. Like the last few, just not as wide. 31, Oregon, another one that's just too far across, but not as bad as the last few. 30, Connecticut, it's not terrible, just too wide, and this portion right here looks like it'd break off easily. 29, Oklahoma, again the width, and don't love the easily break-offable panhandle. 28, West Virginia, might could work, but since we're orienting it based on the US map, the stick should probably be right here, so that's not ideal. 27, South Dakota. Here we start a run of the rectangular states that would work if we turn them on their side, but again, we're going based on how they look on the map. 26, North Dakota, just a little more squared off than the last one. 25, Wyoming, same thing. And unsurprisingly, 24 is Colorado. 23, Montana. Obviously, this one is way too wide, but look at this right here. You could put a face on that. That would be ideal for a kid's popsicle. 22, Louisiana. Now this might work, but I do worry about the weight kind of being balanced out with this one. 21, Nevada. Top half, excellent popsicle. Bottom half, not so much. I can already see the drops coming off of the melted popsicle down here. 20, Idaho. Now yes, this looks like a perfectly valid popsicle. However, I would be thoroughly disappointed if I opened my bag and this came out. Someone already took a bite out of it. 19, Delaware. Same thing. The shape is fitting, but someone's already taken several bites. 18, Wisconsin, might be a little heavier on one side, but definitely valid. 17, Missouri, the only concern here is right there. That's going to melt quickly, but it's still only one spot that we got to worry about dripping. 16, Iowa, a little wider than we would like to in this portion of the rankings. Obviously, we'd prefer it to be tall, but this is decent. 15, Arkansas, we are getting somewhere. These are starting to look popsicle-like. 14, Mississippi. This is good. The only thing I don't love is I might have to touch a little bit of the popsicle as I hold the stick. 13, Alabama. Also very good, but like the last one, a little bit worried about my fingers rubbing right here. 12, New Mexico. Same thing right here, but the base of our popsicle is much more full. 11, Arizona. A very full popsicle. The only concern here is as it starts to melt, it's going to run down there and right to my hand. 10, Ohio, solid shape here, very valid for a popsicle, and I love how as it melts, it kind of naturally funnels here down to the middle, so you only have one spot where it's dripping. 9, Minnesota. Now maybe someone did already take a bite out of the side of this one, but I can get past that because it's still so full. 8, Vermont, very popsicle shape. Now it is a little ugly, but it works. 7, New Hampshire, same thing, except this one would kind of take its time melting. It would kind of settle right here for a little bit, and then maybe down here before it actually gets to you. 6, South Carolina. A little unique, but I like the versatility here. Do you start eating it from this side or this side? Either one would work. And then obviously you got this little funnel again for the melting. 5, Illinois. This is a great popsicle shape, only eliminated here because it could be a little fuller. 4, Indiana. The only even remote red flag with this one is this portion might melt a little quickly, but otherwise this up here looks just like a popsicle. 3, Utah. We were so close to perfection if this was just filled in, but this is still great. 2, Texas. Love the uniqueness, and I think the weight would balance out. Listen, we've all had a popsicle that's just too wide to fit your mouth around, but this one you don't have that problem. You start right here at the top, then work your way over to the side. By that point, the rest of it's getting melted and a little softer, so then you can start over here. This would be perfect. And number 1, Georgia. It's simple, but it's full, it's balanced, and it's melt proof. As this thing starts to melt, it's just gonna run here down the side and never reach your hand. This is exactly what we're looking for.